There are huge benefits to having a more conscious connection to our surroundings when hiking out in nature. Well, stick around because tonight I'm chatting to Jade from the Jadeite Project about how you can enjoy the great outdoors more mindfully. Cue the intro. Hi, my name's Jack and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here and you're into the great outdoors, hiking and adventures, then make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Tonight I'm chatting to Jade from the Jadeite Project about how you can hike more mindfully when you're in the great outdoors. Hello Jade.
Hello.
Hello, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Before we get started, just quickly, in a sort of a bit of a summary here, in a tweet, could you explain to me who you are?
In a tweet, tough one. So my name is Jade. I'm originally from London, currently living in Liverpool, and I've set up the Jadeite Project to help people to learn how to celebrate their bodies.
Perfect, brilliant, thank you very much. So you mentioned there the Jadeite Project. Could you explain to me what the project itself actually is?
Yeah, so the Jadeite Project is all about learning how to celebrate what our bodies are capable of doing. So a lot of the focus seems to be about the physical attributes of our bodies rather than kind of what we can do with our bodies and how we can celebrate what our bodies can do. So I've got a passion in being outdoors, being in nature and the benefits that nature has, as well as kind of keeping fit and kind of doing things that make my body feel good, doing exercise and different things like that. So the Jadeite Project is kind of bringing those together, as well as my background in psychology. So I have a PhD in psychology. So that was kind of looking at mindset, metacognition, which is how we think about thinking. So I kind of wanted to put all my passions and interests together to create the Jadeite Project.
Okay, brilliant. And you mentioned there sort of the psychology behind it. Of course, we're here this evening to chat about how people can embrace the outdoors, walking and hiking in a more mindful manner. So how to walk mindfully. How would you describe what is walking mindfully?
Good question. Yeah. No, there's a lot. So I think we've all heard about being more mindful and about what mindfulness is. So the basic premise of that is it's about being more present. It's about really focusing within ourselves. So thinking about our breathing, thinking about how we're feeling at that present moment, thinking about the different sensations and feelings in our bodies. So taking that mindfulness, but taking it outdoors. As I said, there's loads of benefits to being out, being in nature.
So it's about being more sort of in touch with yourself and your immediate surroundings when you're out in the hills or out in nature. What are the benefits to that, to being sort of more in touch with yourself when you're out on a bit of an adventure?
I think being outdoors generally kind of boosts our mood. So there's a lot of research behind the benefits of nature. So it has an impact on our kind of thinking capabilities. So it kind of frees our mind up to think a bit more. We mainly live in quite an urban settings and there's so many distractions from our phones to other people to the technologies that we surround ourselves with. So just the fact of just going outdoors and being in nature, we kind of strip those things back, which allows ourselves to be able to have this attentional capacity to be more present and to kind of think about things that that may be bothering us, or to kind of focus on our surroundings, focus on the things that we can see and feel, and kind of embrace that kind of those factors. Even just kind of being out can have like impacts on kind of the physical things. So kind of an impact on cardiovascular and different things. So there are loads of different things that we can kind of get from just being outdoors, which impact on both our mind and kind of our physical being. So going for a walk, obviously the benefits of exercise and getting out as well. So it's not only kind of the influence on our thinking, it's also how it impacts on our body physically as well.
Okay, so of course the majority of us at least, live in an environment that is created by and in many respects controlled by humans, and that is, our homes or urban environments, etc. So getting out into nature, into the hills, gives us an opportunity to sort of strip that away. And you're saying sort of removing that sort of home-based or urban, human-controlled environment gives us an opportunity to be more in touch with ourselves in a more natural sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think just the same with there's different ideas on it, so there's different kind of theories behind it. So there's a biophilia hypothesis, which is that we have like an innate connection to nature, so how connected we are to nature, and the kind of concept that we are all connected. So us being humans to kind of being connected through those natural environments. So it's for some it's a natural thing for us to want to be out in nature. So kind of living the lifestyles that we do with the kind of urban setting goes against that. So the more we can spend, more time that we can spend out in nature, the more benefits that we can feel both physically and mentally.
To someone who's watching this video now, sitting there thinking, how do I hike or walk mindfully? How does someone go about that?
It's quite simple, I'd say. So kind of there are different ways that you can go about it. So as I said, mindfulness is all about being present. So before you go on your walk, as you kind of go on to start your walk, you want to be focusing on your breathing. So you kind of want to strip everything back and you just want to think about your breathing in. So focus on your breaths in and your breaths out. So really take that time to tune into your body, listening to your breath. So as you're walking up, obviously we might go into more physical exertion, so your heart rate will be increasing, your breath might get a bit faster. So just noticing those different changes, noticing how your body feels, so you can focus on your breath. You can focus on how your body's feeling at that time. So we carry a lot of stress in our bodies, so more likely than that's anyone watching this, you've kind of got your shoulders hunched and your jaw clenched, and kind of having that time just to relax, so to let your body relax into your walking or your hike, and see how that feels, any aches and pains, and really focus on how your body's feeling and the movement that your body's creating. You can also, in that sense, being present is focus on your walking, so your footsteps. Think about each step that you take and how that foot hits the ground, so where you're applying the pressure on your foot. Really kind of tune into the finer details that we kind of don't think about on a day-to-day. Like we do all these things, we're walking, we're breathing, we're using our bodies. So it's taken that time, that opportunity to actually focus on yourself and focus on your body. So that's kind of one way of doing it. The other way is to look at different senses. So on your walk, as you're walking around, what things can you see? So you can use kind of what can you see in the distance, what can you see closer towards you, what can you see surrounding you, what can you see on the ground. So really, again, using your senses, using your vision, using your sight to see the things around you and kind of absorb it all in, take it all in. Again, I think I do it myself when I'm on a walk. Sometimes you're just focusing on just getting to the top and your head's down and you're not really looking at what's around you and all the amazing things that are around you. So kind of taking that time to look and to see. You've got your smell, so tune into your sense of smell. So what can you smell around you? What are those senses? Are they new? Are they old? Do you have any memories attached to them? So you're really, really thinking about that present moment, those smells. And then as well with touch, as you're going around, what can you feel? The different textures of the leaves or the grass or the ground. So you're kind of getting up close and personal to nature as such. But you're really embracing kind of where you are and what you're doing at that time. Another way we can do it is to set our intentions. So what is it that you want to achieve by going on that walk? So going on that hike. I love a good metaphor. So one way of doing it is when you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're just starting out, what are the things that are causing you to worry, causing you stress? So those things you can quite literally kind of try and leave at the bottom of the mountain. So you've kind of got that time to process that. You set off, you've left them there, you're walking towards that summit or the end of the hike or wherever you're going, and you set that intention to achieve something by the time you've got there. So you're walking with a purpose, you're walking with an intention. When we get to the top, we get to the summit, as you know, it's a great experience, it's a great sense of achievement. So you've put yourself in a mindset where you've achieved something, you've set something out at the beginning and you've got to the top and you've achieved something at the top. So that's kind of like a mental, but you've got that literal sense of you climbing the mountain to get to that. And then on the way down, again, you're being mindful of what those intentions are. How are you going to take that feeling or those mindsets and concepts and use them day to day? So we're not in your work life, in your personal life. So there are different ways that you can kind of walk more mindfully while you're doing it, while you're on your walks.
Okay, so it's making a conscious effort to be more present in the journey when you're outdoors. So as to say, not just fixated on, that brief moment on the summit that for many people is the primary target, that sort of brief summit moment, the perfect opportunity to grab the next Instagram selfie, but to actually be sort of conscious of your surroundings for the duration of the journey. Yeah. Would you say that on one hand, we can make sort of a conscious effort to be more present in said journey? Would you say particularly now? I mean, I mentioned Instagram selfies there. I like to pick on Instagram selfies, but everyone loves a good Instagram selfie. But obviously now we, even in nature, can sort of take with us items that are distracting, that maybe formerly would have only been from an urban setting, mobile phones, etc., things like that. Do you think that, or is it possible that, not necessarily leaving them behind, because that could be considered unsafe, and I'm sure there's no harm in grabbing a photo here and there, but in sort of maybe trying to remove yourself from them whilst walking? I don't know.
Possibly. I think, as you said, we want to capture those moments, and there are so many positive things that we can achieve by capturing a moment, the memories, sharing them, the interactions that we get through taking these selfies and kind of sharing that experience with other people. I think a way of looking at that by utilizing it is, so when you're looking at the senses, so you're still being mindful about what you can see, and then you capture that on a photograph. So I put a challenge, I think it may have been the second lockdown, about going for a 3K walk, but taking 3 pictures on that walk. So you're walking with an intention to take pictures, which actually made you look around you a bit more. So although people might get caught up in getting the perfect shot, but there are loads of different things that you can get that were just I really enjoyed looking at that. So you're taking those pictures, but you're being mindful why you're taking the pictures and your intentions of why you're taking that picture and the benefits of doing that. I think there'd probably be definitely benefits of not having that, if you can kind of do it safely, not having that element to it and being fully present in the moment. But I think you can use your phones and you can use that interaction, because again, it's quite important to be social during these times, and they're a great way of being social and sharing those ideas and those places with other people. So I think there are loads of benefits to that as well.
Okay, so that's interesting that in actual fact, whilst technology can be seen as a big distraction in terms of enjoying time, maybe outdoors or with family or at the dinner table or whatever it might be, but in actual fact, you're saying that you can embrace some of the technology that you may have with you anyway to encourage a more sort of mindful mindset when you're walking. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So it's worth a try, worth giving it a go. I was going to say, I think there's differences in spending your whole time on your phone and say just scrolling through your social media. But if you're just picking it up every now and again to take a photo, so you are still being present in that moment in what you're doing. So I think there's probably a continuum of where you could fit on that scale.
That's been really fascinating, talking about sort of how to walk and be in nature more mindfully, and also the benefits of that. I've got a couple more questions for you before you go. The first one, in actual fact, is obviously we're in lockdown now, but that aside, if you could be anywhere, and this is a completely different question, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be and why? It's a difficult question. I've asked it to everyone I've spoken to so far, because I think it puts everyone on the spot, and I think it's just a bit interesting to know. But where would you choose?
Where would I choose? I'd say right now, yeah, anywhere but here. No, I've got family out currently in New Zealand, and I'm very envious of the life they're living out there. So I'd definitely be on a plane over to New Zealand, enjoying the amazing scenes that are out there.
That sounds fantastic. And looking more closer to home, do you or will you be looking at post-lockdown, etc.? Sort of organising or working with others, taking people on walks, looking into sort of more mindful ways of enjoying the outdoors?
Definitely, I think that's part of the Jadeite Project, is to develop this community and to kind of create a safe space where we can kind of all enjoy the outdoors together and kind of put those skill sets and kind of share those ideas with other people by going on walks and embracing and enjoying nature and all the wonderful things that it brings.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully we'll be able to join you on one of those walks in the not too distant future. But until then, I want to say a huge thank you very much for talking to me tonight. It's been really fascinating.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I've really enjoyed it.
You're more than welcome. It's been really fascinating chatting to Jade tonight and learning exactly how we can make the most of our time and our surroundings when we're on a bit of a walk outside. If you're interested in finding out more and seeing more of what Jade's up to, then make sure to check the description out below. I'm going to be including all kinds of links to her various social platforms so that you can take a peek, so that you can find out more information, and also, of course, stay on top of any upcoming events when we're able to get out into the mountains. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And again, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. It makes a massive difference. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.